Many thanks. Now, less than a month to go for the union budget, the electronics industry has called for simplification of what it calls the most complex tariff regime. In a letter to the finance minister accessed by CNBC-TV18, the India Cellular and Electronics Association has called for rationalising the tax on the import of components. Ashmit is standing by to take us through the specifics of the demands for different categories. Ashmit, what kind of simplification are we talking about?
Well, the first and foremost, the issue that has been highlighted by the ICA is that the current structure, which features as many as 6 slabs, and that's not counting the surcharge, is a complicated one, leads to interpretational issues, leads to confusion, and therefore the solution that has been recommended by the ICA is to have a simpler framework where there are 4 bands in place, 0, 5, 10 and 15%, which will allow for ease in interpretation and therefore give relief to the industry. But this, of course, is a structural reform that the ICA is seeking. On the other count, however, they've sought a number of duty reductions as well within the current existing framework. This is in line with the recommendations that have been coming from the industry that India, when compared to geographies such as Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico, faces a competitive disadvantage with those geographies offering lower duties. So with that in mind, there are various duty reductions that have been recommended by the ICA. Number one, for mobiles, a lot of sub-assemblies and components attract a 2.5% duty that is sought to be brought down to 0. That's one recommendation. For TV manufacturing, to encourage TV manufacturing domestically, locally, within the country, again, there are sub-assembly inputs for open cells, which also attract a 2.5% duty. That is sought to be brought down to 0. Another key recommendation that is made by the ICA is that in 2022 budget, there was a phased manufacturing program introduced for hearables and wearables to attract investments here, to attract manufacturing here. Those incentives that were introduced are expected to clock out by FY26. The ICA is seeking an extension of those benefits, given that the industry is in a nascent stage and requires more support going forward to help build scale. And finally, as far as the auto space is concerned, the car displays, various components of that attract a 15% duty. This again is an opportunity that the ICA bats for and is saying that to actually grow that, to grow manufacturing in that space, again will require incentive with benefits by way of at least a 0 duty structure for enabling more display manufacturing within the country.
All right, Ashmit, appreciate you joining us now.